Hi and welcome to our program. Today we are at Åbo Library to have a talk with the artist Emma Elver about her paintings and her book. Let's check it out. Hi Emma.
Hi Roger.
How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
So what do you want to show us today?
I want to show you guys my paintings and something about the exhibition I'm having here at the library. And then I want to talk about a little bit about my journey as an artist and a writer and what got me here.
Yeah. So what's the topic of the exhibition? What's the title?
It is about the body and all kinds of shapes with the body. Yeah, I think it translates to that. Yeah.
Okay. So you work specifically with the body in here?
Yeah, I do. But it was actually the guys from the library that thought it would suit their subject good. That saw things in my paintings that I'm aware of, but not as much as they saw it.
Okay.
So yeah, there is a lot about the body and the shapes and different shapes in my paintings. This one was one that I was working on up to the exhibition, which is a little bit about my pregnancy, which I just had. And
congratulations!
Thank you. And you see me here. And this was some kind of, crazy stuff that came through my mind because I felt like, and with my boobs and my stomach, and then it translated into this.
Okay, and there's like some animals also? Yeah. Was it supposed to be animals or just whatever came to your head?
Nothing is, planned or sudden about my art. I just start working and then eventually it takes some shapes. And then I see stuff in them. This one is made with ink and acrylic paint. And I saw this bird coming out, and it's things that are being made in the process. I don't have any particular idea with it before it's there.
Okay, so you don't have this image that you're trying to put into a canvas?
No.
Okay, so how do you start working? Do you just draw some lines and then you see what comes out of it?
No, I start making the base, and I actually love that because it's free play, for me. Then I put up and then I shake some paints and make it, do something. And I'm not aware of what colors I should be mixing or how I should be doing it, and sometimes it goes completely wrong, but sometimes it turns out okay. And when I have done that, shape starts appearing.
Okay. You mentioned that sometimes it goes wrong.
Yeah.
If it goes wrong, do you throw it away or do you try to embrace it somehow and accept?
I always try to embrace it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So you work with the color before? And then some more layers of color that adds more structure, and then the animals and the shapes comes, and then I finish with the Posca pens. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And I see that the color scheme is kind of similar around.
Yeah.
Was it always like this, or did you just?
I think my art used to be a little bit more dark.
Okay.
I've had, I think, about 8 or 9 exhibitions in Aarhus during the last 10 years. I have slowly built up to being someone that people sometimes call or order a painting from. But after I became a mother and after my book came out, my art started getting more colorful and definitely more beautiful, or like lush and lively.
Okay. So you can kind of clearly see
the difference.
Yeah.
I can show you guys that I have one of the oldest paintings I have on this exhibition is these two. And I think that the colors are still sharp and bright, but they're more dark and you see that the fables and the animals are more kind of less joyish, I would say.
And also, you don't have any human shapes in here,
No.
like more specific. Like in the other piece, it was clearly the main thing, and
yes.
in
here it's more. You have to look more for the shapes. But if you see down here, you see a strange body with the feet here and stuff. You can also always see in my paintings that I have a self-portrait. It might sound kind of selfish and arrogant, but it's just a thing I do. And right here, it's this one. So it's not a classical woman shape. It's a kind of a cat head in this piece.
Yeah. And you mentioned that you have had some like 10 exhibitions, around 10 exhibitions in the past 10 years. When did you start with the painting?
I started when I was a kid. I think I was 11 years old. But then most of my creativity got kind of closed down because I got very sick from both anxiety and a lot of different eating disorders.
I'm really sorry.
Yeah, and as I got older, I got used to using my art and my writing for getting this out and creating a peaceful atmosphere inside myself, where there was beforehand was a lot of chaos, and then things started getting better for me. And I think it was when I was 20. It was just when I came out of a bad case of anorexia, where I was very close to dying.
Oh my God.
I had some weird dreams, and then it was just like I was bursting with creativity as I gained weight and chose life again. And then one of my friends, who's an artist, spotted me and said, "You have to keep painting." And now I'm 30, and it took a different turn from there.
Yeah,
and I started working intensely almost every day on something related to art or writing.
That's really inspiring. I got the chills. Yeah, and when you were sick, you mentioned that your creativity got a boost.
Yeah.
Was it like a therapy for you, or was it kind of how can I explain, a consequence of you getting better? What was on which side, or was it both? It can also be both.
I think it was both, but also a kind of a reminder to me of how extremely precious and beautiful life is. So I wanted to show that. Because I remember selling one of my paintings to a mother with kids, and she said, "Oh, my kids love those colors. It makes them use their imagination for something. It reminds me of how beautiful the garden is," or something. She said, and that then it came clear to me that it was also kind of a life force coming up from being sick so many years.
Yeah. So for you, this is really important.
Yeah, it is.
Well, and it's super personal in some way. Also.
I think art has to, if it has to let's move over here. If it should be something that people notice and care about, it should be authentic and honest. I really don't want to do something that people just want to see me doing because they would think it would be cool. It should be something that is mine and that comes from the heart. That also makes it kind of exhausting sometimes.
Yeah.
Then you need a big space as an artist to just be yourself and be alone.
Yeah.
I think.
And how do you feel, because if this is so private and you're showing, how do you feel about showing yourself such in a raw way, let's say?
I feel good about it because my experience is that I can help other people, and especially young women who are battling some psychological barriers or something like that, to help them express themselves and feel less weird. Some of the things I'm writing is also about having non-taboos about how you feel, because if you have that, then you create understanding and you create love instead of judgment and being hard on each other.
Yeah.
And I found out that in my paintings I'm able to express some of the confidence I never had, because I never felt good enough. I never felt beautiful. I always felt wrong and weird, you know.
Et skrækscenarie fra fortiden for 6 år siden. Jeg er på bar ved åen i Aarhus. I en knaldrød og billig barrykket buksedragt fra H&M stiller jeg mig som en smuk og veldraget skulptur i hjørnet med en dry martini i hånden og betragter de 4 mænd, som spiller pool, med fadøl på læberne og flydende københavnsk dialekt. Den højeste af mændene har en t-shirt på fra Saint-Tropez med motiv af en orange orkidé-lignende tropeplante, og han introducerer senere sig selv som brandmanden. Et københavnerbirkes, det store brød i vennegruppen, da han bærer folk på skuldrene i brandmandsgreb, og han tjener mest, så jeg tager høfligt imod de drinks, som han køber til mig, mens jeg fløjter små, hvide løgne om, at mine veninder er taget på klub for at danse til diskokugle glitrende 80'er musik. Men måske er sandheden, at jeg ikke har nogen veninder, og jeg er her helt alene.
Is this your first book?
Yeah, it's my first written book.
Okay.
But beforehand, I was writing short stories, or what's it called? It's kronik in Danish.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know if that's a word in English, but yes, I understand.
Yeah. For a newspaper, Politiken. I wrote, I think, 9 or 10 pieces for them.
And what were the topics?
They were all about how it was to be, how I felt it was to be a young woman in our society. Things about eating disorders, body image, becoming an adult, you know, growing up. Also a lot about dating, how it is to try to find one from the opposite sex, and expectations and all sorts of in that.
That is also very open. Do you feel like you express in your writing the same confidence that you just mentioned that you have in your paintings, or do you feel like it's different?
I feel that I express confidence there too, but I'm normally more nervous about my writings, because I'm more perfectionist about that.
Okay.
I'm well aware that it's something I do while playing. You know.
So this is like mostly
I get to
fun.
be a kid again.
Yeah.
I get to and the writings is more. I really want this to stand clear what I mean about body image after birth, for example. So I want this to sound and be described in a beautiful and relatable way.
Okay. And how did you start writing? Was it also at the same time with the painting?
I think it was also when I was a kid. I wrote a lot of poems. But then I also, a couple of years after I started painting again as a grown-up, I started the writing again.
Okay.
Yeah.
I also see a lot of marine related animals in the painting. Not only animals, but is there a particular reason for that?
I don't think I am fully aware of that myself yet, but I think it might be something that I love the ocean and always going to the ocean, because I love being alone as a kid. I love being alone. So I would go to the ocean or to the forest and just be there.
And since like painting and writing it's something that is again very personal, so you kind of do it by yourself.
Yeah.
Do you think that growing up like more isolated, let's say, it helped lead you to this?
Definitely, because there were nothing disturbed me, and that was both good and bad for me, because. When you're lonely, or not lonely, but when you have much alone time, thoughts about bad things can be bigger. And I thought that I was, just getting more sick by being alone.
Okay.
But also I developed, you know, a quirky sort of way of thinking.
Yeah.
So that was also good. So it had both good and bad being alone.
And did you notice any difference in your art and in your writing when you moved to Aarhus? When it's like kind of the opposite of being isolated?
No, not really. Because I thought that all of those memories I had and all of those thoughts that I have been thinking when I was alone, they came to express themselves. So I don't really notice any difference.
Okay. And when did you move to Aarhus?
When I was 17.
Okay.
So quite some years from now. Yeah.
And you just stayed?
Yeah, I've moved a little bit around. I consider myself a bit of a nomad because I've had the last 10 years. I haven't had any roots. No, I've been moving from one place to another because I've always been. I didn't have a lot of money, so I was moving to the place that was cheapest.
Was that inside Denmark, or did you go
abroad?
Yeah,
inside Denmark. But I actually noticed some development in my art when I started. My husband is a musician, and he travels around the world with his electronic music. And I went to join him on these big, you know, hippie festivals where they listen to all this kind of music. And then a kind of psychedelic element came into my pictures. I think. Yeah. And some of them are also like neon, and they, if you put kind of different lights on them, different parts of them will glow.
Ah, that is cool.
Yeah.
Is it with all of them?
No, only some of them. I'm trying to figure out which ones, because I have an exhibition in the autumn where we combine music and sound with light and the pictures.
Okay. Ah, that's really cool. So that neon add-on was not on purpose?
No.
Or was...
It was because I picked up the different, the wrong paint. So yeah, that's,
Okay. So you really don't have any plans when you start?
No.
When you start painting, it's just whatever comes?
Yeah.
And do you, like, sometimes, like, imagine you finish a painting, and you take kind of a step back, and you, like, do you think about, oh, I didn't notice that this was this, or something comes up that you didn't really understand while you were doing it?
Yeah, and especially when I get others' views on it. My husband, he can come in, oh, is that a rabbit? That looks like, and then I say, yeah, I see that, but that was actually meant to be a horse. But you know, when other people interact with the paintings, and especially kids, because they are so, you know, honest, and like it looks like, and then they go on, you know. Then I noticed other things.
Okay, and do you have a time that you're like, okay, this is, how do you know when the painting is done? Because it has so many little details all over. When do you know when it's done?
It actually helps me to have kind of a deadline for either an exhibition or some order work I made for a person, or a gift. I also give a lot of paintings for people. Then I know that I have to stop eventually, but I could keep working on most of them for a very long time. So I have to stop myself sometimes.
So when you see them now, do you think I could add this here? And you're always thinking, because they look so beautiful already. It feels like they're super complete, but we was like all the time.
Much. Thank you.
But you didn't study painting, right? You just it's just from your own.
I'm self-taught, and that's why also that I have also always been quite nervous about letting other people see my stuff. And for an artist, it's good to have one who curates one another. You know, who helps you expose yourself. And I absolutely have a good girlfriend who used to do that, because I'm bad at it myself. I'm very nervous because I don't have the right education.
But you clearly don't need it.
Oh, thank you. But yeah.
And if it's a personal thing, like, it just do what feels right, not what has been taught. Maybe if you would have studied, it would be
like you would think completely in a different way.
Maybe.
You would plan it more, like I don't really know how to study art, but yeah. But speaking of studying, you also study a lot of different things, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you came to Aarhus for education,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So what were you studying back then?
I was studying philology, which is language, actually. It's Old Latin and Old Greek.
Okay.
Because I love language. And I studied that a couple of years, and it kind of started to bore me because studying in the university is great, but you have to fit it in a box to have a good grade.
Yeah.
And of course you have to, because you have to make long stuff with it afterwards, but that didn't suit me.
Okay.
So afterward I studied Spanish. Because, as I said, I love language, and also because my father is from South America. He's from Chile.
That's really nice.
Yeah. So it was important for me to understand a little bit about his language. And then I stopped there a couple of years after, and then I started business school, because I thought maybe I should have my own business where I could sell stuff.
Yeah. Did you have any product in mind? Was it art already?
No, it was actually food.
Food.
Yeah, because I think that that now that I was, after my eating disorders, I would try to make some healthy products. That was my thought, and that was good. But I that wasn't me either.
Okay.
And then I thought I have to try something when there's no women and there's no, thing about body or food or anything.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I started auto mechanics with cars and only men. Yeah.
Yes.
That was fun.
So you decided on that path because there were no females around? Do you feel like
partly,
that is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that affects you?
Sometimes it does, yeah. Back then I think it did.
Okay.
Now I think I have a greater filter now.
Okay.
But it used to affect me a lot.
Regarding body image?
Yeah, regarding body image and what you eat and what you don't eat, and how we feel about our bodies.
That's really unfortunate.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. And how was it to work with a bunch of men then?
It was awesome. I loved it. It was really fun and straightforward, everything simple, really great.
So you studied and then you worked. For how long were you involved in mechanics?
Only 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah. Then it became too hard for my body. Also for my mind at that time, but mostly for my body, because I became very skinny again. Because all of that work made me kind of with big muscles, but with no fat on my body.
Okay.
And then I could feel that I had to do something else to not get sick again.
Okay.
I've always been good to feel, to sense when I'm on the edge of getting sick again, and then I have to pull myself up and look around and see if there's anything I can do. And back then it was to take a break, and then start intensely on what I really wanted to do, which is art and writing. So. While being very anxious, I started doing that.
Yeah. And during this period that you were studying other things, were you still working on your art and writing on the side, or
a little
bit?
Bit. Not much, but a little bit.
And when was it that you understood that this was what you wanted to do? Was there a particular moment?
I remember it was like 4 years ago. I had been doing it for like I said before, almost 10 years with exhibitions. But it came clear to me that this was the thing I would keep doing instead of just getting a job or starting new education. When I had some not very nice friends and not very nice ex-boyfriend who
who never, you know, like believed in me. They thought I was silly and you can't do this. You can't because, you know, you're too sick and you're eventually things will get bad and, you know, you can't make money on art and, you know, like they put some bad energy in me.
Yeah.
And some bad things happened and I came on the other side and I was just feeling like, fuck it, this is me and this is what I want to do. Yeah. And then I met my husband, who is himself a great artist, a musician, and he just saw me and he was just like, honey, you just do everything you need to do.
That is really important to have the support.
It is either in friends or family or husband or boyfriend. Yeah.
It's really important. And I was going to ask you about your writing.
Yeah.
You said that you were writing some chronics, or how you say it in English?
Yeah.
In the newspaper, but before that, were you writing only for yourself?
Yeah, I was writing only for myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was it kind of a journal, or did you also like write small essays or something like this, or was it very personal? How was it?
I've never really wrote journals, so it was mostly essays and poems.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And how did you start writing this? Because it's something so personal. So how do you go from writing something very personal to being open to share it?
Yeah. I actually remember having this is something I'm proud about, because I have 4 big brothers who used to set articles into newspapers to try to get them to publish it.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I sent something in once, and it got published. And
it never.
Yeah. I got so jealous. But it was in Weekendavisen, which is a nice paper with. You know, the language is quite high, so people who read it, they're kind of well educated. And it was about, I called it the Anorectic Society, where I wrote about my eating disorder and what I thought was wrong about how people got into treatment in Denmark, because I have been to treatment myself, and it was important for me to tell sisters, mothers, fathers about the things that happens when you get the free treatment, which is good that you can get that in Denmark. Yeah. But I thought that it made more girls more sick.
Okay.
So I burned so much for the subject that I thought, yeah, it's personal, but it's more important that people get to know about how it can be.
Okay. And can you share a little bit about how your process was and why do you think it was wrong? Do you think it could be better?
I think that the reason why I suffered a lot of eating disorders was that I didn't have the tools to express myself, and I needed psychological help to collect my thoughts and to try to rearrange them. And we didn't get any psychological help. We only got educated in how to eat and how not to eat. And it was all about counting calories, and if you didn't
so they incentivated, motivated you to count the calories.
Yeah, because they wanted to participate in taking this kind of control that the eating disorder is an expression of. But I just think it made me more sick. And if you didn't gain the weight they wanted you to gain, they became, kind of very disappointed in you.
That was it for this program, but stay tuned for the next one. In the meantime, don't forget to check our Facebook page, BURT, for updates on our schedules and programs. See you soon.